Greetings and salutations to you people of the interwebs. So today we're going to be doing the best of times. It was the worst of times. Yes, it's a tale of two seekers. Going to be looking at the 2006 classics version of Starscream and the 2020 Earthrise Voyager Starscream. Now, why are we comparing these two? Because they're very similar. That's why, in their transformation schemes. A lot of things obviously going on. It is, as soon as this was revealed, people could tell it was kind of a re-engineering and an upsizing of this one. So I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of have a little compare and contrast, versus, if you will. Yeah. As you can see, they are both grey planes with red bits on it and stuff like that. I mean, obviously the size is the first thing you notice. Deluxe Voyager. Deluxe Voyager, Voyager Deluxe. That's simple to say. The classics version, there was a lot more paint on it. I mean, this was the first release of Starscream. I don't believe he had many other releases. It's one of the most used molds in Transformer history. When people complain about repaints, remember this is not a fandom, but a franchise that's been built on repaints from year one, and that's why many people love the Seekers so much, because they all look similar. They all look, the same, other than the colour schemes, but they all have these various different personalities and stuff. And the kind of, not the colour scheme denotes the personalities, but we kind of feel attached to them, even though they're the same toy. And then so repaints is part of the Transformer culture from year one. Yeah, it's got a lot more paint on here, a lot more different details. There's these big solid blocks of red, this blue kind of spike that comes down the middle of the jet. This guy's a bit more subtle. I prefer the bit more subtle, to be honest with you. This is a bit much like a show plane, isn't it? This is a bit more of a something you'd see maybe at an Earth show. This looks more kind of military and stuff like that. Slightly different colour plastic. This grey, I prefer this grey. This grey kind of helps the details pop a bit more. They're on the surface, but obviously, with this being a smaller one, the details aren't quite as deep, I presume. I've not got any tool for actually measuring, how deep the actual detail lines are, but this kind of slightly more pearlescent grey just doesn't quite help the details pop as much as it does on this fella. And it's surprisingly, especially on these wings, how much of the details are, while not the same, they are extremely similar. So it does look like it was referenced. The patterns, the wing patterns here was referenced on this. I mean, there's some various other bits in the body that are similar, we can go into later. So other than that, worth pointing out is, I made a pun without even realising, is this guy. He's got a slightly rubberized tip to his nose cone, so I don't know if I've gone past the point of caring that these are for children or not, because that is the same plastic. It's durable. That is the same plastic as the rest of the figure. So while this is probably a slightly sharper tip as well, but rubberized, not rubberized, they kind of like, though, the different colour and the nose cone, which could have been retained. But yeah, that's worth pointing out. Again, we've got these like more solid blue tail fins, whereas just got the red painted detail on this one. This is much more, I think, in line with the G1 toy, and we've got actual round thrusters here on the back of classics, whereas they've all got the square what are going to become feet in robot mode for the Earthrise. Yeah, so we'll just take one of the guns off here. Again, we've got this big jammer with a click, a firing missile. These were the days where we could actually have some quite complex weaponry. We've gone for the more traditional null ray looking thing. I mean, this still looks like a null ray, but there's obviously there's a thin miss in there. They just got one flat sided, and had to be less pointy and more I could land in a child's eye kind of shape to that. Yeah, so even though this is the Deluxe Class's weapon, we've got two of them, it's bigger, more mass, got spring and stuff in there, so it's more stuff going on there for the Deluxe weapons than there are. Quite a hollow weapon on Earthrise Starscream. So yeah, we've got quite a bit. We can see bits of robot going on. Not as much on this, but it is a smaller figure again, and the bulkiness of the weapons kind of hides a lot of the robot, really. But you know, we've got a oblong of robots underneath the plane, which is all folded up again in a very similar manner. What this guy does have is he's got the vents here, can fold out and become non-moving landing gear. There's no landing gear or anything kind of going on with the Earthrise version. Right, let's take these weapons off again, because we'll have to take them off for transformation. We'll just look at some of the details going on. As you can see, got some like kind of hollowness going on in the wings of the Earthrise one, where just a little couple of wee hollow squares in this. And these are the days where Earthrise give us Decepticon symbols, and the Classics mold gave us a rub sign. Does that still work or not? Let's just do that. So I mean, but with the Classics again, there's so many variations of it, so there probably were some, I can't really recall, that probably had Decepticon symbols on them rather than rub signs. But this is just the first release from 2006. And let's see. Oh my days. Did you know that Starscream is a Decepticon? Oh, who'd have thunk it? Right. Transformation. Where should we begin? Should we begin with the legs, shall we? So this guy, you grab the legs. Actually, we'll begin with just folding back the wings. The wings fold back like so. The legs pull out, and you get these feet. Fold them down. Fold them down. You unpeg this from a little hole there. Move that round. Then it slots in again with that little nub there goes into the hole that was that nub was in the hole, then that nub goes into the hole, and you fold these up, and there's the legs. So this guy again, we'll just fold these wings out of the way. Now what this guy does is we'll flip this little crotch piece out of the way, move these knee flaps down, pull the legs out, put the knees back. There's this hole there, slot the tab there, knees peg in, knees peg in there, unfold that. Let's just see how I've done that properly, because yep, these square engines unfold like so to become the feet. Unpeg this tab from there, move that round. This time it doesn't really have anything to peg into on this version. Unpeg it, move it round. Getting rope mode doesn't really have anywhere to peg into, and move the crotch back down again. So we'll go classics first. Classics first. This is what we do. So we'll unfold jet mode, pull out the arms, this cockpit now, remove it on this armature here, spin that round, spin that down into place, pull back the cockpit to reveal the head. We can then move that back into place with the arms, just unfold the hands from there. And of course, put the little rays back on, and there we have classic Starscream in his robot mode. Now with the Earthrise, again, we fold out this part, got a bit more space to maneuver here. Unfold the arms, unfold the arms. This cockpit goes on an armature, right? So similar, twist it round, pull it back into place, pull it back to reveal the head. Very similar, is it not? Then we fold this back up, and it's not just a case of unfolding the arms. This has got a quite clever arm transformation. Let's see if we can get this so you can see it. So this bit of the forearm pulls out, as does the back of it. It folds back up and round, and then you click the hand into place. So yeah, it's like the entire forearm folds around the back, as it's folded around the bicep, so you kind of part it and swing both halves around to make the forearms. And there we have it. Put in the null rays. There we have Earthrise Starscream in his robot mode. So yeah, there's this guy's got some new tricks, but you know, you can see that some of the core ideas still come from the classics design. Now, what this guy did is the cockpit is joined to the back of this guy's head, so he's just got a little head waggle, and that's about it. This guy, the cockpit's on its own little armature there, and the head is on a separate ball joint that gives him, you know, quite a good up and a down, a side to side, a full twist. So he's got a lot of emoting he can do there. Shoulder wise, we're on a swing swivel. What's a swing swivel? A hinge swivel. So we've got a hinge there, a swivel there to give us the shoulder movement. There's no bicep. There is an elbow. It's just stiff. It's an old figure. And you could generously say there's a hand in and out. Yeah, whereas these arms, again, hinge swivel. Said it right first time, last time. We do have bicep swivel, and we do have the elbow again. The wrists, there's a that way we could give it generously. So yeah, there's no wrist swivel on here. When we get down to the legs, ball joint, knee joint, toes can go up. There's no waist swivel or anything like that. This guy again also doesn't have a waist swivel. He's got hinged swivel, yep, so you can get a decent amount of up and down and out. Kind of break the transformation. Is a double jointed knee, but his actual knee is quite deep, and he does have ankle tuck, and yeah, these feet can kind of move around. His toes, his back, you know, his back flat, and his toes can go down, and he doesn't have that tilt. So yeah, some good articulation there in the legs. And is there a thigh swivel? There's one at the bottom of the pin hinge for his hip articulation. Right at the top there is also a thigh, and this crotch piece can get out of the way for doing some high-ish kicks. So yeah, so this guy's just got slightly better articulation than the classics version. You can also fold the wings as well back. This guy, his wings are just in a static wings. They don't actually have any flap to them, so you can give them some angular flap. Angular flap if you wanted to. So I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that he's got better articulation than the classics version, but for a modern Voyager, I think not having any kind of wrist swivel, not having a waist swivel, is kind of a little bit but there's points scored against it, really. Yeah, again, I prefer the plastic on this guy. Just overall, I don't know, it's like a bit weird saying, no, this guy's got more heft. This guy's got more heft, but obviously he's a bigger figure. Of course he does. I'm not sure how compared. He's got, but the vents are painted on this guy. He's also got these streaks on his shoulders, and he's got red painted knees. Other than that, obviously this guy's got metallic painted onto his feet there. I do miss having the jet, you know, the round jets on the base of his feet. I think that's quite a seekerish thing. It's a shame they don't really have that. They just have peg holes for probably sticking battle masters and big square clumpy weaponizer shoes to him, should you wish. the face sculpts. Don't show how well we're going to pick this up on my camera. Again, this is all cast in the grey plastic on the Seeker version, on the Classics version. It's just kind of very generic face, whereas I really like the sculpt work and also the silver, how it's painted on the Earthrise figure. But obviously they've got a much bigger head to work around on this version. Well, yeah, I mean, this guy, I know I'm having a pop at his articulation. I think is a bit disappointing for a Voyager in 2020 to not have the waist swivel. I mean, I'd even think they probably should have an ab crunch at this stage, and to not have any wrist articulation as well is a bit off. But overall, all in all, it's glorious. I really like it. I think it looks fantastic. It really does the job. It can pull off some nice, you know, emoting and some nice Starscreaminess. Yeah, can do some nice posing, even though he's not, you know, like I said, the articulation is not the best, but it's glorious. That little gap there is a little bit annoying in the top of the shoulders. So obviously, back in the day, this guy was half the price of what this guy is. There's only now the difference between a deluxe and a Voyager is only a couple of pounds. It's weird. I think almost like with what they're doing with the current line is because some of the deluxes are even approaching, you know, similar size to the Voyagers, whereas the leader class are also seem to be Voyagers but with a few more accessories. I can see a point where one of these size classes might get done away with, and we might just have either Voyagers and leaders, or leaders and deluxes. I think that, you know, the price difference between the, you know, what a Voyager is and what a leader is, and the price difference between what a deluxe is and what a Voyager is, it's, yeah, the Voyager and deluxes are almost the same price now. So I could see them doing away with the size class at some point, and I'm not sure if it's going to be the Voyager or if it's going to be the leader. It could even be the deluxe, but that kind of sweet £20 $20 spot is kind of that what we presume to be like a Hasbro standard adult kind of collectible Marvel Legends Black Series, probably the Ghostbusters, probably you know, the Plasma series of Ghostbusters, probably the new G.I. Joe Classified. That sweet little £20 spot, I think, is what they're aiming for. And I think really they should maybe think about getting rid of the deluxe class and just giving us Voyagers, and then if people want to pay more for a leader package, which is a Voyager with some extra accessories, then so be it. But I think I could see them kind of moving towards that, really. I think it'd be sensible. I think if across Hasbro's line of like these figures that are more aimed towards adult collectibles, if they're all the same price point, around the same price point, I think it'd be very sensible. That if they hold them all to the same standard of, you know, paint and articulation. Obviously, the Transformers, it's kind of a little bit different because you're not using the same molds, same books, and all that type of stuff, and you kind of, you know, need to point into that budget of actually having the engineering to actually transform rather than just having articulation and sculpting and paintwork. Speaking of size, let's do the size comparisons. Here he is with a standard G.I. Joe figure. G.I. Joe Classics figure. Zanzibar! With the Marvel Legends, you can see. Here he is with Shatterstar. Don't get me started on Deadpool 2. And here he is with the Deluxe Sideswipe. So, I mean, they come and go and say, you know, Sideswipe's quite a short Deluxe for the Earth Siege. And, you know, he's on similar pegging as the classic Seeker. So, where they say that, you know, they're making Deluxes small, and this guy definitely has more heft than this guy. It's kind of, the prices of Deluxes goes up and down. It's not a constant, but to say that they're getting smaller is to not remember the times when they were smaller. You know, yeah, so the size of Deluxes does change, but obviously this guy is a lot more expensive than this guy. I bought this guy in 2019, I bought this guy in 2006, so yeah, there's definitely inflation, but yeah, boy is there inflation. Yeah, okay, so that's this dude, and then Earthrise, Zanzibar, Shatterstar, and with it looks, you're looking a bit at how much the yeah. No, I'm super happy with this figure. I think it's great. I think it's lovely. It's a great update of this, but it's kind of like, from what they've done with some of these other figures and stuff like that, I don't know if it was the wisest move, because they've kind of hampered themselves with some of the articulation kind of being so copyish to this transformation scheme, and I think they could have, you know, increased that torso a little bit to bang in a waist swivel. And even though I like the way the hands transform, I think they probably should have at least worked in a mushroom peg joint for those wrists and give us a wrist swivel. Even though as a Seeker, it's kind of a bit, it's a bit petty, I know, because, you know, the Seekers don't really hold the weapons. I mean, it can't. I mean, that can only really hold it like that. But I'm sure there's other guns and stuff in the line. It's 5mm peg support, so, you know, if you wanted to give him a firing missile launcher from the Classics version, you can do, to swap around. Yeah, I'd reached a conclusion and I carried on waffling. That's just the way videos go, isn't it, darlings? It's well worth picking up. It's well worth picking up. It's a good update. I would have liked to have seen what they could have done just on their own. It was a fresh new design. But I've been Bisto Yeti, and you have been yourself, the viewer. Thanks for joining me. You can like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. You can comment. Sometimes YouTube just removes them. That's just the way it is nowadays. We're fighting a battle, but we're going on the up and up, and that's the way we can carry on going. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Because you deserve it. Let's bump fists, shall we? Bisto! Bisto!